watching BLACKTREE on TV.
I am so sick of black women protecting black men who don't deserve it.
Your husband's okay with friends coming over?
He's not living here at the moment.
I never asked for your opinion. I want the bag, not the attention. They love to brag, and that's the difference.
Hello, Tim. Hello, Angela.
So Jamal,
Angela, is it Angela Grovey or is it Angela Groovy? Like which?
Oh, the other day we always groovy. People. I answer to both. I answer to both.
Right. My first question to both of you guys. I mean, because y'all some Texans, and I wanted to know, like, how was it assessing this Hollywood dream and the Broadway dream from Texas? Like, do you think it's not as hard as people would think, or did you? I mean, like, did being in that location make it harder to reach the West Coast of the New York to reach these opportunities to go for them? Can you tell me like how you broke into Band Slam, for instance, Tim Joe?
I mean, being in Texas, I didn't know anybody that acted, or so it was such a unicorn of a profession. But Texas is big, so we dream big too. And you know, there's something about anybody that chooses a profession in entertainment that you have to have this sense of this gigantic naivete to pursue this kind of dream. And maybe growing up in Texas, it gave me a lot of fortitude, because I grew up. My graduating class was 800 people, and there were maybe 4 Asians. So something about this representation desire of mine to be a face on a screen to represent my people, my face, was deep. It cut real deep, deep enough for me to think that I could pursue a career in this out in California.
Yeah, I would say, very similar to Tim, growing up in Texas, I'm a very proud Texas girl. But at some point I knew that I needed to spread my wings. I'm the only actor in my family. So I was like, I got to go explore. So I spread my wings, I got big dreams. And I mostly love the hustle of being an actor. But I think too, it's important to put ourselves out there. I think that I offer something that not every other woman can offer. And I think it's important to show other people that people like me exist. People like me are also good storytellers. And I think growing up in Texas, I didn't see a lot of that. Yeah. So it really, really pushed me to say, no, Ange, find space for that. Make them want to open doors and opportunities and write stories for people like you. So, I think a little drive came from our good old roots in Texas.
Well, yeah, to add to that, I would say if I grew up in LA and I was skateboarding with other Korean kids, and I was like in a high school with a bunch of other Asian kids, I might not have found acting. It might not have been something that pulled me.
Yeah.
Well, Angela, I'm also curious. I mean, it's been like 10 years since Joyful Noise. And I know you've done a lot on stage in between, but you must have got some no's in between there. I'm like, how's the fortitude as an actor when you go and you want these parts and to keep going, and now you've got this great show coming out on Hulu now, 10 years after that project. Like, what does it take to like not get discouraged and to keep pushing through?
Oh, that's a great question, Joel. I actually, I went to school and studied musical theater. I thought my dream was to be on a Broadway stage, and that was it. So when the television and film industry started welcoming me in around Joyful Noise, I just thought I was like, oh, I just hit the jackpot, and I was like able to do that. So I pursued theater again. But like recently, it's been like, no, please, we want you to come back. I was like, TV, film, you want me back? Okay. But I think for me, it's just, I'm passionate. I'm a storyteller. So whatever genre I'm doing it in, be it theater or voiceover or commercials, I always want to tell stories. So I think that has been able to fill some of the gaps when I jump from genre to genre, is that it might be no for right now in TV and film, but I'm getting yeses over here. So I'm grateful to understand the business of this, that where one side says no right now, they'll come back. So I'm grateful for the comeback.
All right, and Tim, last question. I know like the industry has grown up and been a lot more aware of things, but you're Asian American from Texas. You don't have a heavy accent. Do you find a lot of producers, I'm sure early in your career, with like, maybe speak with the more Asian accent or something like that? Do they allow you just to be Asian American more as these new stories and new platforms come out? Do they just allow you to be yourself instead of wanting you to play into a stereotype of what they think Asian American should be?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, for me, coming from Texas and having my values and the standards of what I wanted to do with my career outside of my artistry, almost in a way on top of my artistry for the longest time was representation. So you look at my resume, it's not stacked. I was very picky. I drew a thick line in the sand that I've never crossed on the types of characters I would put on screen. And so, yeah, I mean, it's been tough to maintain a career with that kind of line in the sand. But as the industry is changing, the most important thing is that we're having people of color telling the stories instead of just the people on, instead of just trying to be a face for people, non-people of color that are writing them. Yeah. So that's starting to change. So that's good. And what I'm finding is the more that this is happening, the less I need to fight the words, and the more I can embrace it as an artist. And at the end of the day, in a weird way, I can forget what I look like because I can start really digging into the soul of the characters. And that freedom is something that I was always hoping for.
Loved you guys in this show. I can't wait to see more from y'all. And Angela, it's commendable what you already do for people that's incarcerated, and you give back to all that stuff. So wish you the best in your career. I'm new fans of both of you, and I'll be here for everything y'all got coming out next.
Thanks so much. It was a great chat.